It's not as easy as it seems to make an appointment with a new primary care doctor. I called half a dozen practices in the area, and none of them said they would take new patients. Honestly, I would have given up, except Enzo kept asking me every night before we went to bed if I had made that appointment yet. Finally, on my 7th try, I booked an appointment with Dr. Sutherman, but I had to be at 3 weeks to get in. But here I am, wearing one of those gowns that opens in the back as I sit on the examining table, waiting for Dr. Sutherman to enter the room. I have already had my blood pressure taken, and the nurse made a surprise sound when she saw the number, which didn't make me feel great about the whole thing. So now I'm sitting here nervously waiting, and there's this breeze from the vent that's hitting me exactly where my gown opens up in the back. After what feels like an hour of waiting, Dr. Sutherman knocks once, then enters the room. I saw a picture of Amanda Sutherman online when I booked the appointment, but I was not fully prepared for how young she would look. If someone told me she was still in college, I would believe it. Thankfully, she at least looks older than Ida does, but not by much. Still, she has a confident air about her, and presumably she finished medical school and residency, so she's got to be at least 30. Unless she's one of those child prodigies you hear about. But she has a sweet face, and that in itself is comforting. I can't imagine this woman giving me really bad news. Miss Accardi, she says. I nod. I'm Dr. Sutherman. She says, it's nice to meet you. I nod again. Maybe I can get through this appointment without saying a single word. I hear you have some concerns about your blood pressure, she continues. I had it checked at the hospital where I work. I say, they told me it was a little high. It's very high. She sits down in the stool next to the computer in the room, logging in to access my file. I'd like to do an exam and some tests to see if there's an underlying cause, but either way, I'd like to start you on a blood pressure medication today. I've been under a lot of stress, I say, hoping that could change her mind. I recently moved, I have 2 young kids, and my job could be really stressful. If I weren't under so much stress, my blood pressure would be fine. Stress definitely contributes to high blood pressure, she concedes. Working on stress management is a great idea. A lot of my patients say that meditation has helped them. I tried meditation once and found it impossible. How are you supposed to just sit there without thinking for 5 entire minutes? That's like not breathing for 5 minutes. But I don't say that. But either way, she says, you need to start medication for your blood pressure. It's way too high. Great. Dr. Sutherman goes ahead with her exam, and the whole time I'm seething with resentment. I'm not that old. I shouldn't be taking medication for my blood pressure. That's something my father did when I was a teenager, and he was old then. I am, well, at least 5 years younger than he was, I think. I leave the office, promising to pick up the prescription at the pharmacy on my way home, and she also puts in orders for blood tests, a mammogram, and something called a renal ultrasound. All this because my blood pressure is a little high. Okay, very high. But Enzo will be upset if I don't do everything she tells me to do. He incidentally got in to see a doctor a few days ago, and he has absolutely no medical problems whatsoever. He is a perfect specimen of good health. When I get back to the house, I notice Jonathan Lowell set out of the front porch of 12 Locust. They have a swing mounted there, and he is rocking slowly on it. Looking down at his phone, when he sees me get out of the car, he raises a hand and greets him. Millie, he calls out, do you have a minute? Not really. I don't feel like having a conversation with my neighbour, but I also don't want to be rude, especially since Jonathan always seemed extremely pleasant. I hope whatever he wants to speak to me about will be quick. I'm already feeling extremely stressed out since it took almost an hour for the pharmacy to get my medication ready, but I stopped it on the way home. Jonathan hops off his front porch and sprints across our respective lawns to talk to me. Enzo would hate him walking over the grass, but I'm not about to give him a hard time. How are you doing, Millie? He asks me. Oh, fine, I lie. He flashes me an apologetic smile. Listen, we've enjoyed having Nico over helping out these last 2 weeks, but... Oh no, now what? Yesterday he was putting some dishes away for us, Jonathan says, and he dropped one of the plates on the floor. It wasn't a big deal, but he just left it there. He didn't tell anyone. Oh my God. I cover my mouth. I'm simultaneously surprised and not at all surprised. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Jonathan runs a ham through his thin and light brown hair. We're all set with him doing chores around our house to pay off the window. I think it's better if he stops coming. Right, sorry, if I owe you anything, I hope to God he doesn't tell me I owe them money. Even though Enzo's getting extra business thanks to Suzette, we're still on a very tight budget. It's fine, Jonathan says. Really? I look over Jonathan's shoulder at the house behind him. I see movement from one of the front windows, and I catch a flash of butterscotch hair. It's Suzette, and she's observing our interaction for some reason. Does she not trust me with her husband? It occurs to me that this is my chance to give her a taste of her own medicine. She's been flirting with Enzo since we got here. How would she like it if I do the same with her husband? And while I'm not attracted to Jonathan, there's nothing wrong with a little harmless flirting, right? I take a step closer to Jonathan. I tuck a strand of my dark blonde hair behind my ear and offer him what I hope is a compact plush smile. It's been a while since I've flirted. I'm a bit out of practice. I really appreciate that. I slide my hand onto Jonathan's slim shoulder. I don't squeeze it or do anything suggestive, but I hope it looks that way from the window while Suzette is watching. You guys have just been wonderful. Ah, thanks. Jonathan flashes me an uncomfortable smile, and then he takes a step back from me out of my reach. He takes a quick look over his shoulder, then glances back at me. Anyway, you have a good day, Millie. And then he runs back into his house as fast as he can, slamming the door behind him. Well, that was a quick projection. Slightly humiliating, if I'm being completely honest. Jonathan didn't even play along for a split second. The moment I touched him, he couldn't get away from me quickly enough, and the first thing he did was check back to make sure Suzette didn't see anything. He knew she was watching. What is going on at 12 Locust Street? What do Suzette the whale want from us? Feels like even though we have our shades down, she is always keeping an eye on us.